Hi, my name is Derek Turner, and I want to introduce you to p3Clarity. This is a framework for personal and business development that I have been developing and creating over the last 18 years. It all started when I was working as a sales trainer at a call center, and it seemed as if every new class that we brought through our training, we were changing what we were doing. Everything felt very reactive to me. I started to notice that pattern happening with business. And every time I would work with a different company or a client through the years, I would recognize this reactive nature. I started to find it in my own life. I started to see how, when faced with challenges, I became very reactive. Instead of stopping and thinking about things, I would make a quick adjustment because I thought it was the right thing to do. Well, that's what everybody else was doing or what everyone told me to do. Over time, I realized that I was getting further and further away from who I wanted to be and the way I wanted my career to go. This is where the concepts of p3Clarity came to life. So p3Clarity is comprised of 3 P's: purpose, people, and process. And it's important that these 3 P's are addressed in that order. So the whole point is finding clarity in the purpose of which you exist, why your business is operating, what you're trying to accomplish, the people who are there to support and fulfill that purpose, and the processes that are used to accomplish those goals. So again, finding that so many people were reactive and so many businesses especially were reactive when faced with challenges and problems, it became more and more evident to me for the need to step back and realign with our core purpose. So what does that mean? Well, P1 is purpose. Purpose is about finding the why behind your personal life or the reason your business exists. So think of any business that hasn't been acquired by a nameless, faceless entity like a venture capitalist or something, where there is really no concern for the core business as it initially came to be, rather just about the making of the money. If you think about most businesses, especially small to medium-sized businesses, there's generally still an understanding and a connection to the reason why that business began. I think of businesses that I've worked with through the years, or my own businesses that I've started, and there was a reason why they came to be. It wasn't just about making money. Certainly that was a goal, but the idea was we have a way to do it different or better, or provide a better solution, or we can do it with a better level of quality of service. Maybe it's about family history, and this is what my grandfather did, and his grandfather did, and his grandfather did. Maybe it's simply a first-generation business where somebody said, I'm tired of the way things are in this industry, and I want to make it different and better. Whatever the case is, that core why, that core purpose why that business came to be, holds a great deal of value and meaning. And when we lose sight of that or lose connection with that, we are going to struggle to accomplish those goals if we don't even know what they were and the reasons behind them. Same thing applies to our personal lives. P1 in our personal lives is about having clarity in our purpose. What do we live for? Why do we exist? What gets us out of bed in the morning? I think a good way to identify this is to think back to times in your life when you felt the most alive. You felt the most energized or excited about something you were doing or working on. Maybe it was the way you're interacting with a friend that needed help and you were there for them. Maybe it was creating things and providing value to the world in those creations. Maybe it was doing a specific type of service that just made you feel energized and it spoke to your soul. Whatever the case is, finding that purpose and then aligning our efforts with it is going to be the most beneficial way for us to move forward with our life. Now, there's a lot of talk about the idea of passion. Should you live for your passions, chase your passions? I think purpose and passion have a lot to do with each other, and there's certainly a lot of crossover, but I'm not talking about simply chasing the things that make you feel good. I'm talking about finding those things that make you feel the most alive and putting an intentional and conscious effort into them so that you can make something more of them. That is what P1 in p3Clarity is all about. Let's talk about P2. P2 in the p3Clarity system is people. And by that, I mean Do you have the right people in the right places to support you in your goals of accomplishing your purpose? Now, for a business, P2 is about having the right people in the right seats. People that have the experience, the know-how, the understanding, the capabilities, the skill sets. That all matters. However, if those people do not believe in or buy into the why and the core purpose of the business, you are going to struggle to achieve your fullest potential. And sometimes it requires a real hard, honest look at the people in the room to decide, are they the right people in the right roles to push this purpose forward? If not, perhaps some adjustments need to be made. Certainly, adjustments need to be made in new hires, because if we're hiring people purely based off of resumes or schooling or even background and experience, if they don't believe and buy into the purpose of the business, then they are not going to be able to deliver the fullest quality of results this business needs and deserves. Let's talk about P2 in our personal lives. When you know who you are, what you stand for, and what your purpose is, you need the right people in place to support that. The fact is, nobody's going to understand exactly the same level of depth of understanding and appreciation for your purpose as you have. But that's why having the right people who do believe in you, love you, support you, even if they don't fully understand it, why that matters so much. P2 in our personal lives is about making sure that we're giving the appropriate amount of influence to the right people. The reality is sometimes the people in our lives, we're not going to be able to simply remove them from our lives. In a business, if you have a bad apple, you can get rid of that person. In real life, certainly you can. You can establish and hold boundaries and you can remove people from your life. But very often these are friends and family that have been with you for a long, long time. And just because you're leveling up and moving into your own purpose doesn't mean that they're ready for that. So now is the time to decide, do I give these people the same level of influence as I used to? Do I give them the right to impact me and my emotional health and well-being with their perspectives and their attitudes? If they don't even care to understand who I am and what my purposes are and what I'm trying to accomplish with my daily life, do I really want to give them that much influence over me to affect me? If not, we need to determine how we can manage their influence in our lives. Perhaps easier said than done, but this is where it comes into play things like establishing and holding boundaries, learning communication skills, being able to respect other people and where they're at in their life, because we know that that's the only way that they're going to ever respect us. There's lots of ways we can do this, but P2 in our personal lives is about finding the right people to support our core purpose, our why. P3 in the p3Clarity system is process. Now that we have clarity in our purpose and we know that we have the right people giving us the right level of influence, it's now time to decide how to go about doing things. Again, we're not reactively making changes or adjustments or decisions just because that's what we think we should do or because what other people tell us that's what we should do. P3 comes after P1 and P2. We've regained clarity in our purpose and alignment with that purpose in our efforts. We've regained clarity in the people who will and do support that purpose. And now we can decide how we go about changing our activities and efforts to accomplish our goals. P3 in the business world is about making sure everybody understands the why, they're in alignment with the reasons we're doing things, and now we're going to come up with a team-based effort on what we should be doing different or better. And perhaps that's simply a return to what got us here in the first place. P3 in our personal lives is about now we get to decide what we're going to do to be able to achieve our goals, live that life of fulfillment that we desire. If you have a goal to become a doctor, there's a fairly clear path. You have to go to school, which means you have to get good grades, which means you have to make sure that you've paid attention to your studies and you're not neglecting them and you're doing your homework and you're performing well on exams. Then you've got to go through pre-med and then medical school. And after that, a residency. And this is a long, arduous process. But if that's your goal, if that's who you believe you are, and what brings you the greatest passion and fulfillment and excitement in your life and the most fulfillment, you've got to give it your best effort. And the why is that path to get there. I'm sorry, the way is that path to get there. That's what P3 is. It's the process to achieve those goals. In the business sense, it might look like this is how we create this product. This is how we manufacture this product. This is how we provide the parts and materials and supplies for the goods or products that we produce. If it's a service-based business, this is the reason we go about these things, and here's how we're going to deliver on this, because that is in alignment with who we are and who we want to be. So p3Clarity is about helping you personally and professionally, and perhaps your business, to achieve the fullest potential and purpose possible. It's about finding clarity and alignment in your purpose, the people in your life, and the process by which you're going to go about it. I hope that helps explain things. I have a very simple to follow ebook on the p3clarity.com website. This is a free ebook. Now, right now, the free ebook is targeting professionals. So it's talking about how to apply this in the business world or in a professional sense. I am working on a version for personal life as well. I'm also working on the full p3Clarity book. I will also be doing a professional and a personal version of that. While the concepts are the same, clearly the way to understand it is different between personal and professional. And I want to make sure that I give that insight and a clear representation of those things to the audience that's reading the book. So look for the book coming soon. In the meantime, go grab my free ebook and join the community so we can start working on making this life a better place with more people living their purpose and finding fulfillment.